Natalie, this is, I guess, the Green Party's biggest issue. It's what you're best known for, the environment. The Church of England bishops in their letter said, most of all, we need an honest account of how we must live in the future if generations yet to come are not to inherit a denuded and exhausted planet. They're right, aren't they?
Absolutely, they're right. Obviously, we live on a planet that is finite and its resources are finite. And if we don't start paying particular attention to things like climate change and renewable energies and and global issues concerning the environment, then we're going to be in serious trouble in years to come. We're already in serious trouble with the polar ice caps, and also taking energy out of the ground that should be staying in the ground. So already we're far behind countries like Sweden and other places in Scandinavia that produce a far greater proportion, in fact about a third of their energy from renewables, when we're on a paltry 4.2% I think at the moment of renewables. So yes, this is the only planet we've got. If we don't start looking after it soon, we are going to be in massive, massive trouble.
Are we not really just very selfish, and that part of the problem with getting people to be more environmentally aware and responsible is actually that with the unsaid thing is, well, I won't be alive when it happens?
I think some people could say that, but I tend to have a bigger picture in mind, and that this isn't our planet. We borrow this from our ancestors. I think that's a quote from a Native American Indian tribe. We can't afford to think like that. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity to start looking at issues around climate change and the sustainability of the way that we live and looking after our planet.
And what constructive ways would the Green Party think of bringing that about in the UK? We
certainly need to make sure that fossil fuels are kept in the ground and look at alternative methods of energy production. So we'd be looking at newer industries in terms of sort of wave power and wind power and things like that to start producing our energy. Also, I think looking after other species is very important. We've lost a lot of the animals on our planet in the last 5-10 years even. Animals are becoming extinct. So we need to start taking more responsibility for ourselves, the way we treat our planet, and for other animals and species that live here too. So if I can talk a little bit about animal protection, we would certainly not carry on with the badger cull that's been horrendous over the last few years and has been a failure. We would also not reintroduce fox hunting, and we'd bring in much tougher laws around animal protection and animal welfare. So it's about having a global responsibility for ourselves as individuals, but other species that also live on this planet.
And what about other countries where, we all see what's happening to the orangutans, the tigers, the rhinos. What could the Green Party make happen if you had some influence in the UK?
Cool, I think that's a really tough one. We've just got to try and by education or just encouraging conservation, just try and make people aware of how important to our lifestyles and the planet that these species are. I mean, the orangutans are fantastically sentient, almost human really, and what we're doing to their habitats is a disgrace really. So I'd like to say that we should be leaders in this respect, about sort of thinking about the planet globally rather than our own backyard. I mean, we hear this often, not in my backyard, but the whole planet is our responsibility, and I would like to see us pushing for conservation, also looking at penalties for poaching, etc. Maybe setting up some bigger reserves in countries to protect the species that are particularly under threat.
And that would need economic intervention.
Yeah, it would. We would obviously need to put our money where our mouth is in that respect, and we do have ways of diverting perhaps some of the money that's been spent elsewhere, such as on Trident, to helping us with our whole sort of global outlook really.